Morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. We're in the middle of Pashas Bamidbar, discussing about Avos Yisrael as Achana for Matan Torah. So we were talking about yesterday how that Avos Yisrael is a preparation for Kabbalah Torah and Signature Torah. Like Alter says, we have to take one ourselves every day after Recha K'mecha. And we said how there's the Avos Yisrael that we have bein Adam la'atzmai, within ourselves, and also with the world around us. And the Rebbe is asking that we publicize this. This is the order of the day. This is the preparation for Matan Torah, telling people about Avos Yisrael. And the true Avos Yisrael which is through Torah and mitzvahs, which brings shalom. That's what we're saying. Today we're going to explain a beautiful vart. So Tzarech Lefaris and Ma'amer Harav HaMagdi. We need to publicize the saying of the Magdim Mizrich. What does he say? So it says in the pasuk, you should know what's above you. That's what the literal taich of the pasuk. Know what is above you. Pirush, the meaning is so this is what the Rav Magid explains. The Magid explains like this. He goes, you should know, Kol ma shalamayla, everything that's above, Hakol hu mimach, everything's from you. Meaning, V'chol echad v'echad toli adavar. Meaning like this. One way of reading the pasuk is Da malamayla mimach, know what's above you. The other way is Da, know, understand, realize, malamayla, whatever is above is mimach, it's from you. Meaning everything that gets affected above, everything that happens in the higher world, in the spiritual worlds, even in Atzilus, and even in the worlds above Atzilus, which is, way above beyond places, the only connection, the only reality they have is godliness, are affected by us. As I learned on Shabbos, I think that Rabbi Yoel would say, or said, that all the ruchnis in the world, all the spirituality, besides Hashem himself, of course, but even Atzilus, which is a world full of godliness, just God, just godliness. In Atzilus is, so to speak, like Parv. And when we connect to that world and do a mitzvah, do something good with it, that elevates it. Meaning it is intrinsically has no purpose. We are the ones that give it purpose. And this is sort of what we're saying here. The Rav Mike says, know that everything that happens above is from you. We affect all the higher spiritual worlds. You're going to say, you look at yourself, you look at your world around you. You say, this is not a spiritual world, no spirituality. It's all physical. And even myself, I'm not that good. I have a lot to work on, all these issues. And what the Magid Mizrich is saying, that you should know that you, with your coarseness and all the things you think that make you subpar in comparison to higher spiritual worlds, all the spiritual worlds are really all just for you. And when you do the right thing, when you do a mitzvah, you take care of yourself, you have Avos Yisrael, you learn Torah, you do a mitzvah, all that, it affects all what's going on above. Every single person is dependent on this idea. Like the Rabbi say, like it says in the Rambam, it says in Kedushin, brings down Rambam, Hilchos Tshuva, we just learned this, that you should realize that the world is equally balanced. And with one act that we do, the one mitzvah that we do, we say, I'm not in the mood. But we should realize, and this is the Rambam says, we should take to heart that the one act that we do, we can tip the scale, whether for good and bring Mashiach, or whether for, unfortunately, in the negative. So too with us, so too in that situation, that Matan Torah, we said before, Matan Torah is the whole union of Avos Yisrael and connection, and Matan Torah brings Shalom, and the reason why, and the Achad of Matan Torah was Kish Echad U'Lev Echad, this oneness is Avos Yisrael. We have to realize that the one little act of Torah mitzvahs and obviously we can be the ones that affect Matan Torah. Well, specifically, Shalom, Ahavas in general, anything that we do, and specifically in regards to Shalom and Ahavas Yisrael. Asher Hashem Tov Kava Zeh Lechem Yisrael Chassidus, that Ahavas Yisrael is one of the foundations of Chassidus. Hashem Tov had, a few foundations, and one of them was having Ahavas Yisrael. She'al Yedei Zeh, that through Ahavas Yisrael Keilim Hu Atzmai Im Zulasai. What does Ahavas Yisrael do? It includes myself with the other person. Im Zulas. And it goes out of the Geder. We stop becoming two separate beings, we become one. So it's not me and you, it's us. This oneness. The who and that oneness that is a foundation of Chassidus, that obviously this is a preparation for receiving the Torah. Like I said before, bringing down from Rambam, the whole Torah was brought to bring peace in the world. In the world at large, meaning the world around us, and the person themselves, to make peace between the creation and the creator. Yeah, and so having obviously soul and having shalom and learning Torah and doing all these things is meant to bring about peace within ourselves. We are peaceful. We are at peace. We're not constantly struggling and getting pulled from two extremes. And one second we want to do this, one second we want to do that. And that's a shalom in the world that we get along with everyone and we connect and we join. We learn how to deal with other people and speak to them and befriend them. And have space for someone else. This is one of the biggest challenges we have in life, is to be able to give space for someone else and to understand where other people are coming from and to be there for them and to connect with them. Now, everything we just said, this idea, everyone, Hashem, the Rebbe is saying that we all need to publicize this idea. But specifically, people that have the ability, that they have an audience. So if you're a teacher in school or you're a parent, or you have a friend or you have a weekly share or whatever it is, anytime before Shavuos, this is our focus. We should be forringing and discussing this idea of obviously soul, and specifically obviously soul through learning Torah and doing mitzvahs brings about the preparation for Matan Torah, that we, the ones that are called Matan Torah. And us, then yeshla the yesh betuchim. We can be certain. Asher yibitzach klal Yisrael, amongst all the Jewish people, nizke kulanu will all merit. Kalashan birchas chak marach adma tzakahal nivgam zia. Then we'll do the language of the blessing of the Frierdiker Rebbe. To receive the Torah happily and internally. So, Mr. Shem, all of us, we should have the Torah, and we should be able to celebrate this way. And the preparation for that is having obviously soul and talking about obviously soul and having this thing, and specifically the people should recognize that obviously they need to have it specifically in the realm of Torah mitzvahs, that we love someone, we should care about them, we should come try to organize, we do davening, we're learning. And we work on having obviously Yisrael. This was from Keta Mekutzer Mesichas Mevarchim Achedesh Sivan. This is from a Tashnud Gimel. This is from 1953. For Reagan, Shabbos Mevarchim for Reagan. On to the next part of Sicha. Now we're gonna go more into the details of obviously Yisrael. Yudalid. Why do specifically, what is the connection between Ahavas Yisrael and receiving the Torah? Why dafka? Why specifically Ahavas Yisrael that we need? Will be understood by explaining an additional idea. Why do you need Matan Torah to have 600,000 Yidden? Kulam b'darga shaveh, and we were all on an equal level, equal footing. There was no difference between Moshe Rabbeinu, so to speak, and the simplest of Yid. By Matan Torah, we were all equal, and we needed. This is part of the Hachan of Matan Torah. Why? What's the difference? Because what's the difference between me and someone else? Two people. What are the differences? So only in specific details. Meaning, I look different than them. I think different than them. We all have our external differences, but essentially they're all external. But with that's in the neshama, we're all equal. By Matan Torah, Hashem, so to speak, connected himself, tied himself. Anochi, shebe'atzmus Yisrael, his essence with the essence of a yid. V'harei mebechinas etzem, and from this level of etzem, his essence, haneshamos masimos, the neshamos are masim, they're fitting. V'av echluklan, we're all equal. We have one Father. Hayokol hashishin mava Yisrael b'shavah. We're all equal. 7,000. We're all equal. Meaning by Matan Torah, the union that we had wasn't, of course, external, because externally we're all different, but internally we're all the same. Meaning in simple English, meaning when you look at people and we look at the world around us, we look at people, what do we see? We see the differences. This person looks like this way, this person looks like that way. But what we're saying is that Matan Torah and Avos Yisrael is not about looking at those external differences. It's about looking deeper inside and realizing we're all the same. Just like, you have, like I've said this before, that what is the difference between someone that you like, a friend of yours, and someone that you don't like? There's a lot of friends. Someone that bothers you, annoys you, you don't like them. What's the difference? You can't say that the difference between a person I like is that they have all these milas, and they all have all these good things about them that I like. Whereas the person I don't like, they have all these chesronos, all these things I don't like about it. That's why I don't like them, because they're annoying, or they don't speak to me nicely, or they're rough, or they do things that I don't approve of. And that's why I don't like them. Whereas the person I like, they're tzaddik, and they do all these good things, and they're nice to me. But we have to say, it's obvious that even the person we don't like has milas, has good things about them they do. And the person we don't like, they have bad things, that they have things that aren't so good. So what's the difference? Essentially, the only difference is what you focus on. The person that you like, you focus on all the positives. And also with ourselves, hopefully, at least, by ourselves, what do we focus on? All the positives. All the bad things that we do, and things that we shouldn't be doing, and the things that if saw someone else doing, we would be unhappy about, but we ourselves do it. We love ourselves, so it doesn't matter. We justify all of it. When it comes to our friend as well, we justify all the bad things. Whereas someone you don't like, you focus on the negative, and you don't justify it, and the good things get pushed away. So the lesson that we're learning is that that the Hachan of Matan Torah, that what happened is because we need to have all the Yidden, which externally we look all different, to come together and to recognize we're not all different. Externally we are, but internally we're all the same. And this is sort of what we're saying. Like it says in Tanya Perek Lamed Beis, that we have neshamas are fitting together, and we have one Father. The way we look at ourselves is like we're family. We're one. We're all equal. According to this, now can understand why the preparation for receiving the Torah, he obviously Yisrael. Now we understand it's obviously Yisrael as a preparation for Matan Torah. Matan Torah is about connection to the essence of the neshama. Like we said before, it was the essence of Hashem, the Anochi, to the essence of a Yid. And so we said, why do we have to have all these Yidden? Why do we have to be 16,000 Yidden? Because we have to bring out the essence of the neshama, to be able to connect to the essence of Hashem. As we're going to explain further, but it's through this intermediary of Avos Yisrael, because Avos Yisrael brings out the oneness, the connection, the similarity that we have. It's like we look at our friend, all the milas. Avos Yisrael is the same thing. We're looking at all the milas of a person. And a simple lesson that we can take for ourselves is when we look at people, recognize, do we look at people with the good eye or the not so good eye? and work on looking at just the good eye. And recognize where we focus, and are we judging? Are we very judgmental? Are we judgmental on ourselves, judgmental on people around us? And how do we look at them? And as a good preparation for Matan Torah is focus on the positives. And even if it's hard for you to look at anything positive, you have to recognize that they have a neshama just like you. And we have all one Father. And as it says in Tanya in Perek Beis, in the sauce, you don't know what's going on. It could be a very high neshama, like the famous story of I think it was the Marash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Marash, that he went to the casino and he saved the Yiddish neshama. And they asked him what happened over there. He said this guy had a huge, very high lofty neshama, but it came down into a very simple body, and he was behaving totally not good. He was in drinking not kosher wine, and he was in gambling. He was doing all these things, and he helped him. Meaning, we don't, just because we see someone doing something totally wrong, totally awesome, doesn't mean we know what's going on behind the scenes, and we have to recognize this. That we have a neshama, and the neshama shenasatu Torah is pure. I want to focus on that. And that's the perfect achana for Matan Torah, because of that unity that expresses that we're bringing out the neshama of that person and bringing out the neshama of ourselves, and that neshama is what's going to connect with Hashem, which is the connection that happens to Matan Torah. To be continued tomorrow.